Welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. In response to recent Russian drone incursions into Polish airspace, several NATO allies have deployed military support. France has sent Rafale jets to protect Poland's skies, the Netherlands is dispatching Patriot systems and troops, and the Czech Republic is sending helicopters and personnel. NATO has also announced a new initiative, Eastern Sentry, to reinforce deterrence on the alliance's eastern flank. Joining us today on TVP World to unpack these developments is Colonel Vaidotas Malinionis, founder and managing director of the National Defense Foundation, a leading expert on regional military readiness and defense cooperation. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Thank you for having me.
So when we're looking at the drone incursion into Poland's airspace and NATO's subsequent action, a lot of military officials are saying this is essentially NATO having, passed the test, having reacted properly. How would you rate NATO's response when it comes to dealing with said incursion?
Well, I think the decision to support Poland, yes, it's very, very important and very, very vital. Even initially, it looks not very high-level support, but I think at this time is pretty sufficient. Later on, probably it can be developed into something more significant. You already mentioned Eastern Sentry, the project. So we will see what will be developed after that. But for this initial phase, I think it is sufficient reaction, and it shows, demonstrates to Russia that NATO is united and that this activity strengthens, credibility of NATO solidarity. And of course, it's a good strategic message to everyone, not only to our allies and to example for other nations, NATO nations, but also to Russia. So they provoked, they organized provocation, and they face reaction. Plus, we don't forget that now during those Zapad exercises, also neighboring countries like in Lithuania, also Poland and Baltic Sea, we also organizing international NATO exercises. So this is not like we are not tracking what is happening in vicinity of us. So we also we're doing like a mirror exercises alongside Russia and Belarus borders.
All right, and some of these equipments we're looking at, France's deployment of the Rafale jets, the Netherlands sending Patriot batteries, as well as the Czech Republic's Mi-171s. Do you think any of these would be substantial when it comes to actually defend Poland's airspace when it comes to things like drones?
Well, concerning drones, of course, Patriot, for example, systems, they are very well very well suited against ballistic rockets and other rockets. But of course, you can use them also against drones, but this is very ineffective. So for against drones, we should have other equipment, more effective equipment, less expensive equipment, which of course we still have big lack of that equipment in Europe, but nevertheless we have to use what we have right now. For example, in Lithuania we have anti-aircraft hand operated equipment, which is cheaper, but also it can be used against drones, and our military troops are ready to use it if necessary.
All right, and the NATO Secretary General, as well as the NATO Supreme Allied Commander today, like you just mentioned, have announced this new Eastern Sentry program that's supposed to boost the alliance's defensive capabilities. We actually do have their announcement here. Let's take a look.
Mm-hmm. And today, General Kinkowicz and I are here to announce that NATO is launching Eastern Sentry, to bolster our posture even further along our eastern flank. This military activity will commence in the coming days and will involve a range of assets from allies including Denmark, France, United Kingdom, Germany and others. In addition to more traditional military capabilities, this effort will also feature elements designed to address the particular challenges associated with the use of drones.
Eastern Sentry will be flexible and agile, delivering even more focused deterrence and defense exactly when and where needed. It will include additional enhanced capabilities. It will integrate air and ground-based defenses, and it will increase information sharing amongst nations. Foremost, it will even further strengthen our posture to shield and protect the alliance.
So these are all very positive messages coming out from the journals, and I think some of the key word that I'm holding on to here is that it will be flexible and agile, and it will be enhanced when it comes to Poland's capabilities to deter these sort of threats. What kind of equipment, what kind of project would you imagine this to be in order to reach this set fragile and agile capabilities?
Well, it's very good to hear from such a General Grinkevich. He's a secure and he's a highest military ranking officer in NATO, and he has allocated rapid reaction forces from many nations in Europe, and he can directly, command and operate those forces in case of need. So he is really he really has capabilities, and of course he needs what kind of else capabilities is needed to be organized. But definitely having his experience and and keeping in mind that he has rapid reaction troops which are ready to act if necessary, it's very promising, and I think he will explain what else is needed, and it's very good that information sharing is mentioned. It is very important, and of course capabilities to deal with the drone type attacks towards our territories.
And when it comes to commitment made by other European allies, be it France, Czech Republic, in terms of speed, how quickly do you think these allied forces can be in position, integrated, and also ready?
Well, because right now we are talking not about the big numbers of equipment, yes. So, for example, fighter jets, they can come very, very fast and then can be integrated very immediately. If we are talking about Patriot systems, yes, they also can arrive maybe just in a few days. So this, if we are talking about particularly that equipment, what is promised by those nations, I don't think it takes time it takes a long time. It's pretty easy, and I think it can take from a couple of days to 1 week.
And do you think these projects and these allied commitments will permanently change NATO's posturing when it comes to Poland?
Well, I think Poland and also other nations which are bordering Belarus and Russia, we also working to increase our security. But it's good. There are bad things and there is a good thing. So bad thing that Poland was provocated, and it was high-level provocation organized by Russia. But nevertheless, this provocation also opened eyes and initiated activities of our friends, our other nations. So I hope that other nations, NATO members in Europe, will also understand that border security is not only Polish or Lithuanian, burden. It's all allies should work with that.
And speaking of provocation, shoot on the other foot, do you think there's also a risk that Russia or Belarus interpret this a bit differently? How do you think they're gonna see it? Be it deterrence, escalation, or even provocation?
I think I suspect we were expecting that our reaction wouldn't be as we have right now. We probably expected less active reaction, more vague actions, and I think initially we demonstrated our unity and our solidarity. So this is very good signal, and it's of course it works towards deterrence against Russia.
And speaking of demonstration of unity and solidarity, of course, NATO's biggest ally, strongest ally, the United States, when it comes to the president, he has been sending relatively vague messages, saying that it is probably an accident, or, well, words that are not very strongly condemning of Russia. Do you think that these messages in and of itself might have any sort of negative impact when it comes to unity?
Well, of course, I would expect more stronger, words, but nevertheless, don't forget that in Poland we have 10,000 American troops, so which are ready they are ready. And the same, we also have a pretty powerful American contingent in Lithuania. So words are important, but I think the most important is, real power, demonstration of real power. And we know that Polish president just recently discussed with President Trump, and President Trump assured that this American contingent will stay in Poland.
Right. Last but not least, just looking ahead, what other forms of concrete support you think would most help Poland, and do you think any gaps still needs to be fulfilled?
Well, I think what would be very useful, is to maybe organize, for example, exercises how to deal with threats from the borders, especially focusing on the new drone technologies. Yes, so to increase exercises, to increase level of exercises, so we should intensify our military presence in border countries, and it's very good if other nations are joining and also increasing their activities.
All right. Thank you so much for all your input and insight and helping us unpack this. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.